She was 6 years old when she escaped. A barefoot girl in a torn pink hoodie walked into a gas station off Route 34 in Maple Creek, Michigan, at exactly 7:42 a.m. on April the 17th, 2019. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She looked the clerk in the eyes and said, "Can you call the police?" I ran away from him. There are more girls in the basement. The clerk hesitated. There were no missing child alerts matching her description. She had no shoes, her hands were shaking, her right eye was swollen shut, and dried blood crusted near her nose. But it wasn't the injuries that unsettled people. It was how calm she was, like she'd rehearsed it all in her head, like she knew this moment had to be perfect. When police arrived, she didn't know her last name, didn't know the town she lived in. She only remembered one name, Lena. For hours, she was listed as a Jane Doe. Officers were baffled. There were no active kidnapping cases involving a child her age in the region. No local family reported a missing daughter. She was a ghost. But then a state trooper recalled a report from 6 years prior. A woman named Lena Calloway had filed a single complaint in late 2013. She claimed her ex-boyfriend had taken their infant daughter, but there was no custody order, no proof of paternity, no photos of the baby. The case was dismissed. It had faded into paperwork until now. A DNA test confirmed it. The girl was Lena Calloway, abducted at 8 months old, missing for 6 years, presumed either dead or vanished. What she told detectives next was beyond comprehension. "He says I'm the good one," Lena said quietly. "The others were bad. He hurt them when they didn't listen." She described a house, old, quiet, in the woods, with windows covered in black paper, a door hidden behind a sliding bookshelf, a basement with a blinking red light, and a girl named Alice. "She stopped talking," Lena added. "He got mad when she cried too loud." Police used satellite data, real estate records, and Lena's hand-drawn maps to triangulate a property at the edge of Ramsey County. An isolated home with no visible neighbors, no Wi-Fi, no social media footprint. At 4:12 p.m., a SWAT team entered. The man inside was Silas Trent, age 42, no criminal record. He taught pottery classes at a community center 15 miles away. When they arrested him, he was watering a houseplant. He didn't resist, didn't blink, didn't ask why. Behind the bookshelf, just like Lena said, was a hidden steel door with a keypad lock. In the basement, soundproof foam on the walls, a single stained mattress on the concrete floor, a stack of children's books, old toys, rusted restraints drilled into the wall, and a bucket. There was also a small pink shoe and a bloodstain scrubbed clean, but visible under a forensic light. Alice Carter, the girl Lena had spoken about, had vanished from Toledo, Ohio in 2017. She would have been 9 now. Her case had gone cold. No one connected it to Michigan, not until Lena. Her name, Alice, was etched into a cinder block wall in crayon, alongside 2 others, Marley and Gina. Police have never been able to identify those names. In an old mini fridge in the room, they found spoiled applesauce and expired juice boxes. In the attic, behind insulation, investigators recovered over 300 VHS tapes, most labeled only with dates and initials. The content has never been released to the public. Lena told police she wasn't allowed to go upstairs, that she had earned her bed by being quiet, that Silas had rules. No noise, no shoes, no birthdays. She thought the world outside was dead. "He told me the air would melt my skin," she whispered to a therapist, "that the sky had poison, and that he saved me." The psychological conditioning was so deep, Lena had no concept of years. She remembered dreams, shadows, and once she remembered snow. The moment she escaped was almost unreal. She said he'd fallen asleep while watching TV. She used a bent fork to unlock her chain, a trick he'd shown her during what he called their training games. She walked nearly 6 miles barefoot through woods and gravel, following the sound of distant traffic. No one saw her until she pushed open the door to that gas station. Silas never confessed. Not during trial, not during interrogation, not even when shown photos of Lena. His defense attorney tried to argue diminished capacity. That failed. In October 2020, he was convicted on 17 counts, including aggravated kidnapping, child endangerment, false imprisonment, and possession of illicit materials. He was sentenced to 6 consecutive life sentences without parole. But Alice Carter was never found. Neither were Marley or Gina. The second property owned by Silas, an abandoned farmhouse in Indiana, had burned down in 2018. Investigators believe it may have held more evidence, possibly more victims. Remains found in the rubble were too degraded for identification. To this day, the names on Lena's drawings remain a mystery. So do the full contents of those videotapes. Lena now lives with her mother under a protected identity in an undisclosed state. She is undergoing therapy. She's enrolled in school. She paints often, mostly pictures of trees and doors and stars. She still sleeps with the lights on. Sometimes her mother says she wakes up and walks the hallway checking locks. She says she's guarding the quiet. One night during a therapy session, Lena was asked what gave her the courage to leave. She said she remembered her mother's voice, a lullaby, something Silas couldn't erase. She used to hum when she rocked me to sleep, Lena said. He never hummed. That one sound was her tether, her proof the outside world had existed once, that there had been love, that there was something worth escaping to. The town of Maple Creek still doesn't speak of the case much. The house was demolished in 2021. The ground was burned and turned to gravel. No one walks near it. No one builds there. Locals say it feels cold even in summer. As for Lena, she's no longer a ghost. She's real now, alive. But her story is more than survival. It's a fracture, a warning, that some monsters don't hide under beds. They build them, soundproof them, lock them behind bookshelves, and convince children that silence is safety, that crying is danger, and that the world outside is a lie. But Lena proved that truth survives, even in the darkest rooms, even with no shoes. Lena survived 6 years in silence, 6 years in darkness. And when no one knew she was alive, she found a way to be heard. If her story moved you, if it made you stop and think about the world we don't always see, then make sure to subscribe to The Unseen Case. Because for every Lena, there are others still waiting. We tell their stories. We speak the names others forgot. Click subscribe, tap the bell, and follow us as we bring light to what was meant to stay hidden.